Hey, I'm Zach, and welcome to this explainer from Zak Wealth Files. If you're new here, our goal is to make wealth building and personal finance simple, accurate, and genuinely useful. And just a quick reminder up front, everything we discuss today is for general education to help you build your own frameworks, not personalized financial advice. Okay, let's jump right into a highly counterintuitive, honestly kind of frustrating truth about how your recurring bills actually work. The company you've been fiercely loyal to for years? Yeah. They are very likely charging you more, not less, than they would charge a brand new stranger signing up today. I know, your instinct tells you that loyalty should be rewarded, right? But in a lot of areas of the financial world, that exact instinct is quietly costing you a ton of money.
To put a real dollar shape on this, get a load of this staggering number. In a recent analysis, NerdWallet found that drivers can overpay for car insurance by as much as $2,452 a year simply by not comparing rates. And just to be clear, this isn't over a lifetime. This is every single year. We're not talking about pocket change here. We are talking about a serious financial leak in your long-term wealth building. Insurance is one of the single most comparison-sensitive purchases households make, and yet, surprisingly, it remains one of the least compared.
And this really illustrates the core injustice of what's happening behind the scenes. Think about it. For the exact same coverage, the exact same product, the exact same terms, the lower price, that sweet introductory deal, goes to the newcomer. The higher price, the premium, goes to you, the person who pays on time, every single month, zero fuss. The difference in price isn't random, and it's definitely not a glitch in their billing system. It is a highly engineered pricing model.
There's actually a formal name for this in consumer research. It's called the loyalty penalty. By definition, it's the measurable price gap where an existing customer pays a premium over a new customer for identical services. And I want to be perfectly clear right now. This is not some wild internet conspiracy theory or outrage bait. This is a thoroughly documented pricing pattern that's deployed across insurance, cable, internet, and cell phone providers.
To really understand the massive scale of this, we can look at some fascinating research out of the United Kingdom. A consumer charity called Citizens Advice actually made this issue their flagship campaign. They estimated that loyal customers in just 5 essential markets, we're talking mobile, broadband, home insurance, savings accounts, and mortgages, were overpaying by up to £4 billion a year. I mean, think about that. That is a colossal wealth transfer moving directly from loyal, everyday consumers straight into corporate margins.
What's even more striking is just how widespread it is. That same research estimated that roughly 8 in 10 bill payers are hit by some form of this loyalty penalty. So the crucial takeaway here is that this isn't some rare anomaly affecting a few unlucky people. It is a structural feature of these industries. The entire system is built on a business model that relies on one simple behavioral fact. Most people just do not shop around at renewal time.
Which brings us to a rhetorical but honestly very important question. If your loyalty is supposedly such an asset to these companies, why does the discount always go to the stranger? Why is your tenure penalized? To really understand this, we have to strip away all the friendly marketing fluff and look at the cold rational economics behind their deliberate pricing strategies.
So here is the brutal math of retention. Acquiring a new customer costs real money, right? Advertising, promotions, onboarding, it all adds up. To offset that cost, companies offer these sweetheart deals just to get people in the door. Then they recover that lost margin later from their existing customer base. The industry models show a very simple, very profitable truth. Existing customers will tolerate moderate price hikes that would instantly cause a new prospect to walk away. Your loyalty, your patience, and frankly, your inertia literally read in their data models as low price sensitivity. It makes you a highly reliable, very profitable revenue stream.
In fact, the industry actually has a technical term for the most aggressive version of this practice. They call it price walking. This is where your renewal premium is crept upward just a little bit every single year. It gets raised exactly as high as their algorithms predict you will tolerate based on variables like how long you've been a customer and, get this, whether you've ever called to complain. So your lack of complaints is the exact variable they use to systematically squeeze your rate higher.
Now, if you're wondering if this is actually as bad as it sounds, consider this. Regulators eventually looked at this closely enough that they had to act. In 2022, the UK's Financial Conduct Authority investigated this exact pricing strategy and completely banned it in home and auto insurance. They legally mandated that insurers must not set a renewal price higher than the equivalent new business price. An entire country's financial regulator outlawed the practice outright. But in markets without that ban, which includes most of US insurance and almost all subscription services everywhere, the exact same underlying logic is still running strong.
Let's shift gears and see how this shows up in other parts of your budget, like cable and internet. We've all seen what's known as the promotional cliff. Providers hook you with an introductory rate, let's say $49.99. Then, exactly 12 months later, it quietly jumps up to $79.99 or even higher. You see, you are only ever renting that discount. And it often arrives without any big flashy notification. Just a slightly higher number on a statement that they know full well most people just skim over. And then there's what I like to call the zombie charge on cell phone bills. When you finance a new phone, you usually pay a $15 to $30 monthly installment. But Consumer Reports flagged a while back that carriers have been caught continuing to charge those same service rates long after the device is fully paid off. You are essentially paying an ongoing monthly fee for a piece of hardware you already own free and clear. And the kicker, it requires you to actively call them just to get it removed.
So why do we let this happen?
Well, it comes down to 4 psychological blind spots that these companies rely on. First is inertia, or status quo bias. Honestly, switching just feels like too much work. Second is anchoring. You look at this year's high rate and compare it to last year's slightly lower rate, rather than the true market rate. Third is the fairness assumption. Your natural, good instinct that loyalty should be rewarded totally blinds you to the fact that it isn't. And fourth is just a hassle threshold. Look, let me be clear. Falling for these isn't a failure of character on your part. It is literally just human nature, and pricing teams know it inside and out.
But here is where we take the power back. The solution lies in a very specific, sometimes hidden part of these companies, the retention department. This is a dedicated team completely separate from your regular customer service reps, and they are authorized to offer massive discounts, often 20% to 50% off, when you indicate that you are seriously considering leaving. Why? Because handing you a steep discount is still significantly cheaper for their bottom line than spending all those marketing dollars to acquire a brand new customer to replace you.
Let's dive into the practical framework for this. Here is your concrete 6-step playbook to systematically reclaim this cash. Step 1, pick an annual date to review all your recurring bills. Step 2, get fresh, actual competitor quotes. Step 3, call your provider, mention the competing quote, and specifically ask for the retention department. Mentioning a real, hard alternative is the trigger they need. Step 4, be willing to actually switch if they say no. Step 5, check those bills for zombie charges or expired promos. And Step 6, set a recurring calendar reminder and repeat this every single year. This simple 15-minute habit completely resets the cycle.
Now, as always here on Zak Wealth Files, I have to give you the honest caveat. Not every single price hike is a penalty. In insurance particularly, things like claims inflation and repair costs are very real factors. Plus, genuine loyalty, like a long claims-free history or having multiple policies bundled together, well, historically, that can sometimes actually pay off at renewal. The point is, the only way to know if you're experiencing a predatory loyalty penalty or just a legitimate market increase is to run that 15-minute comparison. The competitor quote gives you the truth. Which leaves us with this final question for today's explainer. Are you willing to spend just 15 minutes this week to stop paying a penalty simply for being a good customer? The fair market price is out there, but it is rarely just handed to you automatically. You have to ask for it. If this framework was helpful to you, subscribe to the channel for more straightforward, practical wealth-building strategies. And please, drop a comment below when you successfully negotiate a bill this week. I read every single one, and your win might give someone else the exact confidence they need to make their call. Keep building, and I'll see you in the next explainer.